Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Finstep Asia Edge podcast, covering exciting elements and conversations with entrepreneurs in the Web3, fintech, and digital assets world. Today with us is Ms. V.L.A Ambala, the co-founder of Stock Markets Today, joining us from India. We're doing this virtually, back to the good old Zoom days, but I'm very excited about having this conversation with V.L.A on her entrepreneurship journey in finance, in capital markets, but also talking about the future of stock market analysis in India and how technology is going to play a role in it. Veera, welcome to FinStep Asia Edge. How are you doing today?
Thank you so much. Thank you for having me here. I'm really great. Thanks. And it's being a pleasure actually. This is going to be, I'll try that whatever time you're going to invest here, it's going to be a little, worthy output people are going to get out of this video.
I'm sure they will. You've had a very interesting journey, and it's a part of the growth story of India in some senses has been parallel and mirrored in it. So I look forward to this conversation. Maybe what we can start about, look, for the audience who are not from India, contextually, when we look at the Indian markets, they have been performing quite well recently, but long story short, very male dominated, as are most trading institutions globally, but India's markets are also very high volume, among the top three in the world, and also having a decent number of retail participation. Institutions also have a big stake in it. And part of the conversation in the recent past has been about how it's been enabled by a variety of supporting actors, if I may, or those who are able to educate investors as stock market analysts, but also mentoring them in terms of the journey, because wealth creation through stock markets is a newer concept in India. It was limited to the wealthy previously, or those were highly professional in investment earlier. A disclaimer, anything in this conversation is not meant to be and is not any financial advice for anybody listening in. These are just discussions that we're having. We don't be specifically talking about specific stocks here, but it's a broader conversation on the economy and the growth story of India, but more importantly, the entrepreneurship journey that V.L.A has had. So V.L.A, let's start with this conversation by understanding your journey, right? How did you get into finance? What was your footsteps into coming into the trading world, stock markets, and then setting up Stock Market Today? So why don't we start with your initial journey post-graduation? How did you imagine you'll be in the space? What led you to coming into the space?
See, to be honest, at this position that I am today and what actually we are working, I haven't imagined that. But that's something called destiny, right? Back in 2011, I worked with a company on company, and there I wasn't working as an analyst because I was just doing my graduation.
Sure.
But there is something which fascinated me, right? But I was not sure about it. Okay, can I do that? Then post that, I have completed my graduation, then post-graduation, then MBA again, and still there was no clue that I'm going to work in this segment. So I had completed my MBA in 2018, right? I'm in 2016, and post that after I got married in 2018, and we tried many businesses successfully, right? Still, we have some other business branches like also. But back in 2020, something, hit everybody so hard. That was COVID time. And yes, I worked with some, good corporates. I worked with India Today, Times of India, India Mart. There are many companies I worked with as, in sales, in production, in project development. In some other aspects, I have worked for many companies. But in 2020, what exactly happened? Me and my partner, we both, he never worked for a single day. He never did any single day job.
Okay.
Since, when he was 19-year-old, since then he's into business.
Okay.
So, and in my family background, they are business, unka family, since, they are into business for long, generations. But from my side, I was the very first person who was tend to do, okay, mujhe job nahi karna, I need to do some business, right?
Okay.
So I had tried many type of businesses, but yes, जो एक final breakout आया, that, वो तब आया जब हम लोग when I got married, right? So in our case, it was like 1 was not 2. Here it became 11. So in 2020, 2020, we thought, okay, he's into finance. He's MBA, by the way, in finance. I am MCOM and finance background, MBA in finance. So I think we should try something, because there is something, because when we were looking something, okay, there is something called stock market. मुझे पता है, इनको भी पता है. Then, but when we started exploring the videos, right? So there was a lady, I really want to name her, Rachna Ranade, right? And there is some other person जिन्होंने मुझे inspire किया personally. So we started making videos. But I was not, so confident कि मैं videos record करके या फिर I can start some learning videos about stock market. So he started that, right? So I was a helping hand at that point in time. But gradually, what we have understood, okay, if we really want to get into this business, because one aim was there that we had common, right? We really wanted to do something which really can impact lives directly. So we wanted to have an industry. This is something we still have this aim. तो हमने ऐसा सोचा था कि हम कुछ ऐसा बिजनेस करेंगे जो कि डायरेक्टली many lives को impact कर सके.
ठीक है.
Then we finally came to this. Okay, this is something, our research is good, because we were making points for ourselves. Then we thought, okay, let's start making some learning videos about stock market, and that वहां से ये start हुआ. Then after 1 year and 2 years, we thought, okay, if we really want to excel this into business, there is something called license that is really needed.
Sure.
So we have the post that we have, cleared the exam, and then we successfully got the license. Then we came into this business. So this is how it got started, because interest ये था that we really want to touch the lives, and thankfully it's happening through this business.
It's very interesting, and there are a few things to break down further on this, right? कि पहली बात, you had a taste of trading and the world with in 2011 very briefly, and then you had a normal different career, and then it came back after MBA in some senses as an interest to let's educate, let's speak about the markets, right? This is very reminiscent of, or very similar to what a lot of fintech entrepreneurs tend to do when they ideate, right? Just let's get into it, let's just build things, see how it works. And then you went in for the license, which also happens in the fintech world, that when you realize to scale, to get credibility, to have much more impact, you need to get into the licensing, which actually I would say typically has a positive impact on businesses if they have the look at it. So I want to ask you how you found that process, pre-license, pre-exams versus post. Did you see a change in the reach you had? Did you see a change in the scale you had and the responses you were getting, business-wise as well? Did that make a big difference to you, getting a license?
Yes, because see, we really wanted to do something legalized, because in India, giving any kind of tips, giving any kind of research or advisory, it is illegal until unless you are registered with SEBI.
Correct.
Right.
Yeah.
So yes, in fact, there are many. What triggered us? That was when we were exploring the videos. I just go back in that. When we were exploring the video, there were a hell lot of people around there who were talking about, you're going to buy this at 100 and it's going to be double. It's going to be triple. It's going to be like that X. And we thought, excuse me, this is not what the stock market is. There are a very handful people, बहुत कम लोग थे जो actually इसी जो सही expectation के साथ में learning provide कर रहे थे. Otherwise, the people, they were just talking, they were trying to get the clickbaits, learn the setup, you're going to be double, learn like that. So, how we started this after getting the license, right? First, we got the credibility, because I believe you get the license only until unless you are eligible for that. You are qualified for that. And I see my profession as a doctor, right? Because there is a health doctor, and we never go to a doctor which is not qualified and experienced one, right? Because there is no there is only one person who can save us, that is God. But still, if you are going to the experts, if you are going to the qualified people, there is a probability that result could be better. And same applies to the registered and non-registered people also. Yes, it could be contra to the people who are experienced in the market, right? Who have 10 years, 15 years active experience in market. But anybody is like, just coming into the market and starting giving the, services for tips and all. This is something, because here we are dealing with the real money, right?
Correct.
People are trusting us. And if you have an audience base like lakhs and in thousands, so these are not the 1,000 people only. There are 1,000 families behind them, right?
Correct.
So there is a sense of, I should say, responsibility in this job, right? And I think post this registration, we are able to do our work with confidence.
Okay.
We were, with more credibility, and that's really changed. Because earlier we used to make the only learning videos. We were not giving any kind of research.
Mm-hmm.
But post register research analyst registration, we got authority to provide the research services also, and that's being monetized as well.
That's great. And I like the way you mentioned about being a doctor, right? Okay. A lot of times people do not recognize that the financial element of their lives, that's also, the term financial health, right? So what you essentially are talking about, the treatment for your financial health. A lot of us go through in a normal physical health perspective, just letting it go, etc. But as you said, when you have a problem, you go to a doctor. If you need to improve your health, you go to a doctor or a licensed practitioner who can help with your fitness. And there's just too much of these influencers in the health industry who are just saying things without knowing some random research, etc., which is having a bad impact on people's health. I wouldn't name certain doctors who are trying to debunk online, but there are a few who are trying to actively talk about the wrong notions. In the same way, what you're talking about is a similar story. The Finfluencers, as it's called, right? And SEBI's actually titled it as that, right? The Finfluencers who just come and say, as you said, 100 mein lo, 200 ho jayega in a week. It's doubling of money. It's like, it's a lot of scam because they give links to stocks and it's a pump and dump in a lot of cases. Or it's just people who have no understanding, who just see something and they just want to get likes and monetize that, right? So it is very important, I think, even for the audience to understand that the licensed practitioners are there for a reason. The regulators are keeping a mind to
track on that.
Yeah. And to protect investors. It's investor protection.
Yes,
so you
because
can take...
when you are licensed, just to add this. Yes. So when you are licensed, somebody is already regulating you. Somebody is always watching you. So you are not supposed to do any, you cannot actually. If you are doing that, you are out of this this regulatory body.
Yeah.
So it's very important, just find a right person for you.
Yeah.
In your financial health as well.
Yeah. So I'm gonna build on that topic, right? So when you went from saying, hey, we're gonna educate you broadly about finance, financial health, to the stock market conversation, and then saying, okay, we're gonna get registered and now provide research and advisory. What was the main driver? Was this saying driver in the sense, what was the big motivation to do this? Was this to look at monetizing what you were doing and make a business out of it, or it was more a case of from the time you started, your idea was to build a business, and now you felt was the right time to scale it by getting the licenses?
No, how it started. Actually, we wanted to get into this business. We were really not having that idea that this big market it is, to be honest.
Sure.
Right? So we started on the learning part, and still we do a lot of learning videos on our YouTube and Instagram. So then we realized, okay, it could be monetized also.
Okay.
And gradually, yes, because that was I was not aware of that. Okay, a real research analyst can charge this particular fee but post that we realized, okay, there is an audience. There are a few people who really want some good research, and they are ready to pay for that. So that become
Yeah, go on, please. Yeah.
And that was the point we started our services.
Okay. So I want to understand, and I think for the audience, it will be very interesting to understand what are your monetization sources? I don't need to know margins, etc. Just to understand how you monetize your advisory, your expertise, right? For people who may be influencers who want to go down the right path, or those who are looking to understand how people build a business in this sphere. As much as Sensex and Nifty are near all-time highs, outperforming most of the world, our economy is still only $2.5–3 trillion. There's a long way to go, and there's more maturity. The government is doing a lot of education and encouraging people to enter into more structured investments through mutual funds, etc. So I think this is an industry that is poised to grow. Just wanted to get your insights on your revenue monetization, right? So how has it been? What are the things that people should be understanding about the business model in terms of how you monetize your professional services, your advisory, your research, your YouTube educational videos, if at all? What's kind of the broad breakdown? Secondly, also, what has been the change pre-licensing to post-licensing in the volume of your revenue, if there has been any change?
Okay. So when you are into this business, right? So first of all, there are 2-3 ways where you can, monetize your skills.
Mm-hmm.
One, like you can directly, the very first thing, you can work with some, corporates who are into, this investing, some mutual funds,
Sure.
right? You can work some broker houses. But there is the second mode of monetization is if you can directly go to the market, you can build your audience, providing them services. Gradually, if your research is good, you can charge for that.
Okay.
And it could be on subscription based. It could be on, you can, there are 2 ways. And the third is if you do not want to charge directly to your clients, then you can build your audience around the social media, be it Instagram, Twitter, or YouTube. Sure. Provide the quality content, be regular, and, over a period of time, because they are monetizing, they are also giving you, chance of revenue sharing based on the advertisement and so on. There are various things. And that is also mode of revenue you could generate for yourself.
Okay. And what would you say is your breakup of corporate advisory to subscription or otherwise versus, say, the YouTube revenue? Out of 100, where do you see the breakdown, if you're comfortable sharing?
See, most of 50% is coming from subscription, right? From the retail segment. And there are some other clients also who are, joining us from the institutional point of view, like they have the big capital. So it is mostly 75%. It is from subscription services, from the research that we are providing, and remaining from other social media platforms.
Okay. And
this is how it's going.
I also see the silver award from YouTube in the background. So I'm assuming you're doing, that's for that showcases how well the consistency you've had with the YouTube side.
Thank you.
So
this is the very first video. You know what? This is the very first video we are, very first video we are covering this. Otherwise, we have not showed it yet.
Well, we are delighted that this is being shown on the Finstep Asia Edge podcast for the first time. Now, this is an interesting phase, right? Now, we are in this world which is very mobile, very digital, right? A lot of people, when I was a trader 20 years ago, I was constantly looking at a screen with Bloomberg, CNBC, both local and largely international. And that was the case in most Wall Street firm or trading firms. And you had a big screen or multiple screens where you're just listening to news anchors, which are more financial anchors. Although I think this still exists, a lot more of the modern generation tend to get their information, research, education from online sources, social media being prime. And YouTube, despite the fact that we have the TikTok and others, is still a pretty strong medium. So how did you grow that channel? How are you seeing things change in YouTube, if at all, over the last 3-4 years that you guys have been doing these videos and educating people? Yeah.
See, there is an audience for every content, right? Yeah. And a person is not in the same mood for 24 hours, right? Sometimes they are in a fun mood, but sometimes they really want to have some quality content for the, I think you got what I mean to say.
Sure.
So here, being in YouTube, right? When we started, we purely started with the learning content. like how we are learning, because see, we were aware about the market dynamics from the macro factors, but when it comes to a trading desk, the scenario is little different, right? I personally state a word, I use a statement like, when being a retail participant, always remember, you are going to deal with big institutions, be it TII, be it FIIs, right? And it's really, really not so easy to, get their money in your pocket. It's going to be a tough job. And very importantly, you are going to deal with lot of experienced person in the market. People are from big institutions like IIT and all, right? So just try to, you got to match up that bridge, right? You cannot do like that. You are coming, after graduation or whatever. I'm not going to, state on that particular thing, but there is a gap, and that has to be bridged, right? And when you are watching some, news media. So as you asked, like, how do you see the importance of news medias? The mainline news TVs and all, and the difference in between YouTube content. It's different, right?
It is
in YouTube. On news medias, people are being paid for that, right? They are not charging anything to the users, but it is different on YouTube. In YouTube, you have a user has a free, I should say that opportunity. If you are not, then somebody else.
Sure.
If somebody is not, then somebody else. So in that way, your content plays a very, very important role, right? Give worth. And when people find worth in you, when you be honest, by the way, and when they find worth in you, they definitely become your fan, right?
So how did you guys build this up for yourselves, right? The becoming worthy, building this news content. What was your process of discovery? Because this is, for you, is your entrepreneurship journey in stock market today is a lot about refining these videos, refining the messaging, right? That's been a major part of your journey. So how did you kind of understand what the audience wanted? What was it based on? How did you work on your content? I know people who spend hours on one video in prep, and I know others who just switch on the mic and they're ready to go, right? It's different styles, not necessarily one effective or the other, but I wanted to understand how you approach it as a build-up to what you were answering.
See, I have understood the psychology of the people, first of all, and I'm really not okay with that. Why? Because I have made two types of videos. One was like, if I make a thumbnail or a video, this strategy gonna make you rich overnight, right? Yeah. So this such kind of video is gonna have a lot of views, lot of question, lot of engagement. But whenever I make some videos on that, like, okay, learn this strategy, which will make you 3 to 4% every month, or could make. People are so interested in will, not on could. They just want short thing. And actually, there is nothing like that. And, there's a big gap. And gradually, we stick to do not make such kind of videos. We just make what is reality, what actually you can expect in a particular stock or something like that. I'm not going to name any stock here, but I never say, okay, learn this setup and this will make you rich. It's not going to happen. There's a process, there's a saying in the market, when you get money in the market, you get experience. But when you put experience in the market, you get money. And this is something very real.
Yeah, we used to, when I traded with Futures First, our chairman, Gideon Hurston, as well as the head of trading, MD, Sunil Bajaj, they used to speak a lot about the fees you're paying to the market to learn, right? And that was your university, as it were, which is where you're going into the market to learn. You will have a cost to it. Nothing comes given on a platter.
Nothing comes free.
And if you made money in the first 6 months, a lot of it is fluke because you didn't really understand it. You got lucky, right? And only after a little while of understanding is when you start making money, if at all. Right? So for you guys, as a preparation, is there a team that supports and looks at different content and material that you want to build at present? How do you do it? How involved are you and your co-founder in this journey?
See, we have divided our videos in three segments. One, because whenever we are putting any kind of content, first is purely related to learning. Okay, this could be learned, like do it fundamental or something like that. And second one is trade purpose, like this stock or this particular segment can be traded for this reason, with this risk management, and with this target expectation you can have for this much holding period. This is something we are doing for the trading purpose. The second part or third type of videos what we are making is like this stock could generate a wealth, right? So this is how, like whenever we are putting any sort of video, we are very clear, okay, this has to be done with a trading mindset, and this should be treated is with the investing mindset. And how we are finding the stock, we do research. If we are suggesting any stock for the for swing and all, so it is purely a little bit of fundamental, because whenever we are picking stocks for swing, it is based on the fundamentals. But whenever we are, and based on the technical, this is a perfect combination for that. And on the other hand, when we are looking for the investing in stocks, and generally I do find it, it's me who do this research. Stock finding is completely my work. And when we do the research for the stock, okay, this stock has a potential on technical chart. How do I see it? I go reverse actually. First, I see the chart on technical, price chart. Then I accumulate some of these stocks. And out of that, I, filter out, okay, which stock has the good fundamentals, which has the good potential to go ahead. So I work on an eliminating strategy actually. And when we figure out some, good potential stock, that is being recommended. And post that our videos go for editing most of the time. Shorts videos we are editing. Otherwise, it's just like we are doing live and all.
Yeah. Shorts.
So this is how it's happening.
Okay. I want to now move on to a little bit on further in your entrepreneurship journey and this discussion we briefly had before we started, which is you, and if we mentioned you co-founded Stock Market Today with your husband, right? And this happened after you both got married in 2018, as you mentioned, right? What drew you both to want to work together? Now, we've seen multiple cases, successful cases in India where both tech, fintech startups have husband-wives as co-founders, right?
No.
It's not that many instances that have happened, right? So I wanted to understand how you both got into this idea. How do you work together as partners, right? Keeping your relationship aside, does that help, or how do you deal with building a business, being a couple?
Okay, you would be surprised. When we got engaged, we were not married yet. We were in discussion. Okay, we're gonna have marriage sooner or later after 1 year, and so it was a complete arranged marriage. So at that time, we used to discuss about, okay, what business we can do in meanwhile. Let's try this one. We have tried, your last product. We tried many other businesses, and we did it, right? So, and post that also. So I want to take this chance to express my feeling here. He's my friend, not only in my life. He's my business partner. He's my life partner. And I do not have a lot of friends. And so and we are, fast friend to each other. So this is something, we haven't, we do not have any kind of success stories. Okay, let's inspire. They are doing it together. But we just had a simple dream. Whenever we are going somewhere, we still have this dream actually. Like, लोगों को जब हम लोग बुलाएं तो हम दोनों जाएंगे, एकदम बताएंगे. And see, life is not, husband and wife is not only about like, you cannot show me your mobile and I cannot show your mobile. No, it's not like that. It's a very deep relationship. And this is the relationship, you are going to die with, right? So it should be very honest. It should be very close. It should be very open. And the most important thing is respect. And we found these things in between. हमें ये मिला आपस में. And then gradually, हमारे जो interest थे, whatever businesses we were trying, we did it successfully, and we are still doing it. Then there was a common point He was interested in stock market. I was interested in stock market. We both were from the finance background. Then it's something got clicked. Let's do it. Right? Intention was not like that कि हम यही करने वाले हैं. But let's try it out. Try it out. Because everybody was talking about the stock market. हमें ये पता था this is not the reality which is people, जो लोग सिखा रहे हैं. But ये तो वो नहीं है market में, because a little bit experience we also had, based on our investing and whatever. तो थोड़ा सा correct करना चाहिए. I mean, people should have the realistic experience, realistic expectation with market. Any business, do you know any business which is, compounding, doubling in a year, doubling in 3 years? Very rare. अगर ऐसी companies में investment का मौका मिल जाए तो, people, you're getting me, right?
I get you there.
Likewise, there is nothing. There was a lot of expectation gap जो हमने समझा, and we are trying our bit कि हम इसको पूरा करना चाहते हैं. The people who join us, as a company now, हम लोग यही उनको समझाते हैं कि expectation पहले ठीक करो. If you have a lot of expectation with the stock market return, please, we are not the right person. Please look for somebody else for you. तो हम दोनों ने जब ये start किया, so I want to state it was not 1 + 1 2. It was 1 + 1 11, because the focus, we were very focused on what we are working, all the time we are together, everything we are discussing the ideas. So it is very important. I mean, to have a good partner, to have a good communication in between each other, have a good communication so that, you guys can exchange your ideas, right? Yeah. Every idea is going to, enrich. Every idea is going to successful. It's not mandatory and it's not going to happen ever.
Yeah.
But find a friend in your life partner.
It's they say a lot of times that, running a business with a co-founder is a bit like marriage. Here it's the flip side.
And you won't be, every time whenever you are going, we discuss about this stock. Acha, what do you think this stock is going to, I think this stock is going to, grow this much. And the upfront question is why? So when we are discussing, when we are communicating, at that time also we are doing kind of research and discussion about the stocks and market. So this is something, a healthy discussion we get.
Sure.
When we are.
And how do you guys decide on the roles, right? When you're building a business, at the initial stages, everybody's doing everything. But as you start maturing, you start having slightly different roles. Somebody is the main business manager. Somebody is like, say, strategy. One is operational. One is CEO kind of roles that start kicking in. How have you guys worked that out?
See, as you just mentioned, on the very first day, we were managing, he was recording the videos and I was doing kind of animations. But sure. Gradually, when our work, grew, then we, now we have a different editing team. Now we have our finance team. Now we have our digital marketing team who's handling our post and all. And the business part, right? Like the communication, now I'm just focused on the research, and rest of everything is being, managed by him.
Okay, that's great. Okay. So one is the core value of the value proposition on one side, and the other side is running the business structurally, right? So now moving forward and talking a little bit more about this industry in particular, how do you see, now we've had in India broadly, one of the strongest growth areas in fintech has been online brokers, digital brokers, the Zerodhas of the world, who are also bootstrap, family-run business largely. Spoken Nitin last year at GFF. But how are you seeing the traditional brokerage model and advisory model versus the online digital first and digital only in a lot of cases model growing? Because some of these volumes and the numbers that the likes of Grow and Zerodha, etc., are even larger than traditional brokers when it comes to number of users. So what is your view on this?
See, the life has become more easier, and the things are more available because of the mobile and internet. And I want to mention it here actually. in 2011, my very first client, I had got that time was a discount. That was not the time for the discounted brokerage. It was a full time brokerage, right? So that 50,000 check, then we realized in the debit account. So the client was asking, I was so new about it. Then he asked that why this much only. There is a lot of brokerage charges. So he had given us a 50,000 check, but actually he had around 45 or 42,000 only in his Demat account. So that kind of I should say brokerage and account management charges and so on. But this has changed drastically after Zerodha, right? Now Grow is the number one as of now, and sooner or later, Geo Financial is going to, it disrupt the market. That sense I have. I think whenever the Geo Financial will come into this business industry, the margins and because they already have a very good a database, so market margins and a lot of things going to change. But from the user point of view, things are easily available, right? It's not necessary you're going to pay for something. If you don't have fund, you must have time, right? So, and if you don't have time, then you must have fund.
Yeah.
Right. So if you think that you are busy in something else and you don't want to devote some certain time into this business industry, then your brokerage, I mean, the application that you are using, be it Zerodha, be it Angular, be it Grow, anything, ICICI Direct, now things are easily available. It's not necessary that you join me and get the research.
Sure.
You can do your research by yourself also, because internet is in your hand. That application has a lot of learning data. Learn it. That's the different thing. This is something is differentiating, the 10 years before and nowadays. So everything is in your hand now, right? And the market dynamics are changing. And what I have understood, Musheer ji, ki jo user hai, right? They really don't want to learn. It's a sad part.
Okay. It's an interesting take.
I mean, you just try. I mean, you must have you will be having that idea. If you have, just think, the content which have like, funny videos, जो content में funny videos हैं, इस तरह के videos, that content gets the million views.
Correct.
But if a video has some worthy content, it's not about the stock market only, that videos did not get that kind of, attention from the user.
Correct. Yeah.
So people are like, jaldi de do. Let's do it fast. I don't want to sweat on it. मुझे वो नहीं करना है. तो पहले चीजें मुश्किल थी. When we talk to your parents ना, जब हमारे पापा मम्मी के टाइम में things were very different, right? Things were not easily available.
Yeah.
Everything is very easily available today. Make it good use of it. Data है, trading के लिए बहुत सारे applications है, learning videos है, good research है, focused रहना है actually. We cannot act like a monkey from here to there. वो नहीं चल पाएगा.
It's just, I think it's again that conversation around financial health and how much you focus on it, right? Versus, okay, do you take care of your health regularly, eat healthy, fitness, etc. Versus only doing it when you have a challenge or you get sick or you have a flu or a complication. Only then you go to the doctor. I think that's a very important element of trying to build your health from before doing. Jessica, I'll give a personal example, and this is health versus typical health, right? Where in India, the concept of annual checkup is very rare, right? It's more a newer concept. While growing up, we didn't have an annual checkup concept. Ke doctor ke paas har saal jana hai. It was like, once you're over 50, 60, maybe for the grandparents or older parents, they need to go in. But for youngsters, no. But whereas in a lot of other parts of the world, in Europe, in East Asia, doing an annual checkup is just normal part of their lifestyle. So that is a similar concept in maybe there's that correlation in terms of economic development and that where we are individually as well as a country, where now we should also be paying attention to financial health doing that annual checkup, going to the right people, rather than just chalta hai, let's just do whatever we get off influencers, right? My closing questions are around, as we discussed, right? The Gen Z, a lot of Gen Z and the younger millennials take their information based on what their friends are sharing, what they see online. This DYOR, do your own research kind of conversation, but it isn't typically getting it from the traditional sources always, and the trust for traditional sources is very low. However, many times they can be victim of misinformation or misunderstanding on these elements, right? Wall Street bets aside, and what's happened with Wall Street Kitty and others are more rare a case, right? So, what is your advice to younger people who are getting into starting their career, starting to look at investments? Some do in the university itself. How should they approach it, irrespective of it being a influencer or on the other side a licensed registered person? What are the key things they should keep in mind when they're taking an advice from the online sources?
Okay. A simple statement: please do not invest on online, advisories or not. See,
Okay.
because this is something, your hard-earned money. Maybe it's not your, but your parents. If you're so new in the market and you really want to put some money, get something reliable. I'm not saying like, work with us. This is not what I mean to say here. Get something reliable. The importance which you give to your degrees while selecting a college, right? Because you are so specific that I have to study from that XYZ college, or otherwise I will not be having. Why do you give that importance? Because you believe there's a quality, there's a market, demand also, and you believe that there's a quality studies, right? So likewise, again, I'm trying to put in an example. There is an unregistered university and registered university. Where you would like to study?
Yes.
Answer, you know it, right? So get the reliable resource, because that reliable, be it an investment advisor, mutual fund advisor, research analyst, portfolio managers, whatever, everyone has. If the person is registered with somebody, that means they are eligible, they are qualified, they have the sense of understanding, they know the risks which involved in this any particular instrument, right? So be wise, because once the money is loose, it's
gone.
Just gone, right? You can't get it back. And so you need to understand that there will be many people. See, since single day, still now, I haven't made any profit screenshot or any, video around my personal profit bookings. Why should I? Because see, am I selling my profits in market? No. What I'm doing, I am here working as a research analyst, right? So get the right people for you. That's it. And secondly, if you see anyone claiming like, I can make you rich, or you will have this much of percentage return overnight, 2x, 3x, 5%, just stay away from the guarantee word. In the stock market,
Nothing's guaranteed.
For that matter, in any business, just stay away from guarantee business, because अगर गारंटी है तो वो आपको एफडीज में है, देन यू हैव इन एसजीबीज में, आपको गोल्ड बॉन्ड्स में मिलेगा. इनफैक्ट अगर गवर्नमेंट भी कोलैप्स हो गई तो वहां भी नहीं है. एफडी के लिए भी आपके बैंक लॉकर में भी सिर्फ 1 लाख के लिए ही आपको रिडम्पशन. सो देयर इज नथिंग लाइक दैट, राइट? डू नॉट लुक फॉर गारंटीज. It's like how much experience you are getting gradually, how beautifully you manage your money, and how keenly you are learning and grasping that thing. So my advice is just would be stay away. So first of all, from the unregistered people. Don't go with the claiming things. If anybody is giving any claim, I did this and I can do this in future also, stay away.
Got it.
And start investing instead of this is my honest feedback. I mean, over options, you should go for equity. It is safer than options. It is a public platform, and I really want to take this advantage. Like, whenever you are trying to, invest in the market, right? Try to invest. Trading and investing are very different things. And when you compare trading in options and equity, it's huge difference.
And in a lot of cases, in from a regulator's perspective as well, derivatives, which include both options and futures, are typically only for sophisticated investors, right? So anybody getting into options in many markets, it's restricted to sophisticated investors only after there is a validation that they understand the risk, how things work. It's not like, it's not a lottery where you say, oh, you can get so much X, but the technicalities of options is very, very important, right? So
it actually, it was made for hedging, and
yes.
you know what, I think 6 or 7 months ago, when NSE had introduced some more index, right? So that time also, one bite, maybe in Business Today or Republic, I can't recall that.
Sure.
I had stated that this is something, when, it's time to, control the, interest of people in option trading. Try to control it. But when you're introducing new indices and all, that means you are motivating them to do some trading and all, right? You are, so, okay,
it's
but I have to say this.
The exchanges also need to get you right? They
Yes,
want to drive.
and after 6 months later on, after 6 months, now they are giving some consultation paper that option trading people are not making money, so we have to control these expiries. It should not be weeklies. But yeah, introduce you kyun kar rahe ho nahi? Because this is not the good. I mean, you are selling the alcohol, you are selling the tobacco, and saying that this is cause of cancer and so on.
I hear where you're coming from. Yeah.
There's an interest in that. Sorry, you're saying something.
No, go on, please complete. Yeah.
Okay, because see, everyone, though being you are a retail participant, just got to understand one important thing, and that is, you or me earn or not. There's this, you're gonna earn. Am I going to earn in that particular trade? It's altogether different story. But there are some middlemen in that who's surely going to earn, and they want you to trade. So unnecessary, please don't trade anything that you don't know. One.
Agreed.
And be it brokerage house, be it SEBI, NSE, all government. So when you have, whenever you are trading, remember they are not part of your loss, but they are part of your profit, and they are part in your loss also. But they just take the transaction charges and brokerage and all. So you make or not, but they are going to make it. So don't get trapped in any ways.
Yeah,
trade what you understand.
Yeah, trade what you understand. Be aware of the costs and everything else involved. All right, there are different parties involved who have different. I mean, that's their business, that's their model. So be aware of what you're getting into. Anybody providing free advice or others have some intention at the end of it. So make most sense of it. V.L.A Vijay Lakshmi, just using your full name for the audience. Thank you so much. This has been a very interesting conversation. I'm sure we can pick this up again in the future as things grow. But it's fascinating to hear of your journey getting into stock market analysis, working as an entrepreneur, building the business out, and then taking the license path in a field that requires a lot more people to come into in a structured manner as we grow and as more people want to understand it, right? So I think the dream is everybody can get to be more educated, but investing is one of the oldest professions and also one of the oldest scams in the world. So we need more educated support than ever, I would say. Yeah.
And just last one point I would like to mention, please. Yes. See, as on date, around 1,000 RAs are there only 1,000 in India. Yeah. And look at the population. We are the world's largest. There's a huge demand.
People, and 1,000, It's
and top of that, the women participation is very less.
Yeah.
Despite of being, the recent SEBI's report says that women are 33% higher profitable as compared to the men's, right?
So very interesting.
So, girls, I mean, you are calculated risk taker, inherited. It is in your genes. It is in the girl's genes, actually, right? We don't take, uncalculated risk like now and there.
Sure.
So, the people who are watching this video, if you are a man, encourage the girl, who is with you, maybe your sister, maybe your whosoever in your family, maybe your wife, maybe your daughter, encourage them, right? Because I believe we can do really, as a girl, the risk management part, you should agree with me on this. Risk management is very, very important in trading and in investing. And girls are very good in this, right?
Yeah.
And that the report says.
Yeah, there are a lot of reports on wealth management which talks about how women are more calculated in their risk taking. They do a lot more research before they enter. They don't necessarily always look at high risk. And I completely agree with your statement that we need women to participate in the investment world in general at whatever scale they want to, but because that's part of their financial health as well. And they should be encouraged more to understand more and then eventually participate more so that they can benefit from it. So, yeah.
Yes.
Well, thanks again.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you so much. Audience, stay tuned for more interesting conversation. Hit like, follow us, and subscribe as we bring in more entrepreneurs such as V.L.A on our platform. Stay tuned. And thank you once again to V.L.A, and thank you to the audience for listening.
Thank you so much, everyone. Thank you.
Thank you.